see. I'm hoping to gain insight, maybe make some medical connections, learn where to turn for support and guidance. I feel so alone at times and overwhelmed by changes that seem to transpire. So, as I said, you're not alone, and I hope that you're going to see that. And even those of you that are viewing from home, you're going to see this room full. You're going to see other people in the online community. You participate in our social media. You're not alone, and don't ever forget it. There's a caring community that is here for you. So, as I said, we have a wonderful program planned. We have dietitian, nutrition, social workers dealing with emergency issues, long-term planning, what's going on, what's new in pharma and research, what's the treatment protocol. There's just so many aspects, new innovative kinds of support approaches. There's a lot that you're going to learn this weekend. So I do want to make everybody aware that the PowerPoint presentations will be uploaded to the website, but also the actual workshops, some of them are going to be uploaded by tomorrow, and then tomorrow's activities are all going to be live streamed. All of the medical and research will be live streamed, and again, as much as possible is being recorded so that people that are not present can also benefit from it, and those of you that are here will be able to access the information as well. There is internet connection in here, so if you need it for anything, it's free. You just have to do your wireless connect, and you'll choose the conference-free, complimentary internet. We're trying something new this year, so please bear with us. The first time you try something, there's always some bugs, so again, please just bear with us. But we have the Whova app. You should have received an email as a registered attendee. Now, some people use their own email to register everybody in their party, but then you have to use this QR code and accept. But using that app is going to tell you the workshops, the locations. It's going to allow us to send you live announcements, so we could say there's been a room change, or hey, we're meeting for the bus. You need to be there in 10 minutes so that you know, oop, I better get moving. All right, so do download that app. Find a little time to download that app. The directions are in your email. So before we begin with the opening session, I want to introduce our medical host. We have a team from the University of Florida Fixell Institute, and we've been working with Dr. Nicholas McFarland, and he has been wonderful in getting us some really great medical professionals and support staff to be here today. Dr. McFarland is the Division Chief of Movement Disorders at the University of Florida in their Neurology Center. He's been there for nearly a decade. He's really well known in the world of movement disorders. He's done research. He's worked with NINS. He's overseen grants. He's done a lot of work in the community. He's really well versed. So you can read his bio in the program. By the way, the written program has not been discounted. We haven't gotten rid of it just because of the app. There's been a delay in the delivery, but I've been told that we should have it by lunchtime, so you'll also have a physical to refer to as well, not just the app. But I want to say that Dr. McFarland has been more than just the host this year. We connected with Dr. Farland because he has been a friend to this community. I know that members of the community, in terms of patients and caregivers, have nothing but wonderful things to say about him. Members of our team, Larry Kellerman, you guys know him from the support line, I'm sure, has always talked so highly as our go-to person when we need some help and advice. So he's really been a great friend of the community. He's really helped us get a great team together. So he wants to say a few words of welcome as well. So without further ado, Dr. McFarland, please come up and...
Sure. Here. Good morning, you all. It's really nice to see everyone here. Actually, I was impressed I was able to get out of bed this morning. We were flying in from our recent conference out of town from New York, so I'm glad I'm really here. It's amazing to see this large crowd that's here today, and I do want to give my thanks to Cindy for actually putting this together. I was told, you know, if anybody can do it, she can do it, and amazingly, this whole thing has really come together. The board and everybody's been wonderful about doing this. It's been a long road. I think you guys started contacting me very early this spring, and actually even last year, to last fall to start putting this whole thing together. So we've been working really hard to make this a really fruitful weekend for all of you here. I'm actually amazed to see all the people here. This is just fantastic. Yeah, so this room is not quite full yet, but just looking out at the sea of people over here, all of you either know somebody or are affected by MSA. As a clinician, we see a lot of patients at the University of Florida who have this disease, and over the many years I've come to know many patients, families, and caregivers. I can't say that I experienced the disease, but we do understand it. We do see what you all go through, and the hardest thing for us really is that we would like to do more for you all. We want that cure as much as you all do, and another treatment. We want to make your lives better now. I realize that progress is slow and not fast enough. Ooh, are we okay? Oh, wow. Are we okay? Oops. Are we okay? All right. Our crack team is hard at work in the back. I think we're going to be okay, I hope. Let's know if we're not. So I do want to welcome all of you here. What I did want to do just briefly is just get a sense of who's from Florida. I don't know, just give me a raise of who's from the Florida area. Great. Okay. Fantastic. Who's from just the southeast, outside of Florida, I guess, southeast area? Okay. That's great so far. That's a really good crowd. All right. How about the northeast? Wow. Look at that. Midwest? Who came in from the Midwest? Wow, I'm really impressed. Okay. How about the Southwest? Are we going far? Wow, okay. I'm going to need to find out where you guys are all from. And then anybody from the Northwest? Did we get? Wow. Okay, that is fantastic. This is Australia. Okay, international. Canada. Fantastic. Wow. All right. Okay. I'm absolutely impressed and amazed. That's okay. Well, so tall order for us. I think we've put together a really great program. As a University of Florida person, I brought many of my colleagues from University of Florida here. I'll be selfish and brag that I think that we have a fantastic team. In fact, I'm just a member of this team. I may be the physician, but I am by far not the top, okay? The folks I work with are excellent, par none. And I think we could probably say that of many centers around the country. I would like to hope that we have many more of those centers around the country to help patients who have MSA and treat them. I know that our center does more than just treat patients, help them with their rehab, social work, but we're also a research center. We have trials. We actually are doing basic science as well as those trials too, and trying to find the next step, that eventual cure for folks too, okay? So we're doing really a lot. Lastly, I just want to say thank you again for all of you coming here. I know how difficult it is for many of you, especially patients, to make the trip all the way down here. So I just, from all of us, I would just, the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming and spending this weekend with us. We're honored to be here and spend that week with you, okay? So thank you so much. I hope the conference is worth it, and I know you guys will enjoy it. I hope to meet you all. Okay.
I have to reiterate, amazing, you're from all over. But all I could think is, we don't call you MSA warriors for nothing. You guys are great. You've got so much spirit and strength, and I've seen that for years. So we're just so glad that you made the trip and you're here. We're going to start by getting you guys connected, because that's really important that you make those connections. So to do that, we have some innovative kinds of support available to you today, and there'll be smaller sessions available with this morning's speakers. But we have with us 2 social workers, and you'll see more about the details of their background. But our patient rep, Hadley Ferguson, where are you, Hadley? Here she is, referred us to Andrew Lau. So they're coming from the Northwest. And he is also a psychotherapist. He does a lot of work with body and connections and communication, and you're going to have the benefit of that session today. And working with him, we have Margot Escott, and she does some really unique things and some fun things with improv, and actually developed the first program for improv with Parkinson's disease. So you're in very good hands for a very unique and light way to connect. We want this conference to inform you, but we also want it to be uplifting. We want you to have some fun. And by the way, as I said, we do listen to you. Some of the things we hear about are the things that you want to learn about, but we look at those evaluations and we also hear we want to have some fun. Well, I think this is the place where we're going to have some fun. So we're going to kick it off with some lightness and some connections. So I am going to go ahead and let you get started with that, and I'm going to ask Andrew Lau and Margot Escott to please come on up.
All right. Both of us? I'll start. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm Andrew Lau. I'm from Missoula, Montana, and I know all of us have gone on a long journey to come here today. Mine involved auto drive, about 90 minutes, 2 flights, and then some of my colleagues actually had to get on a magical bus to get here. So it's been a long journey, and what we want to do as we get started together is just allow ourselves to arrive here. So we've gotten here, but we want to find a way to invite ourselves to be more present. And one of the things that's been interesting as we've done more and more research on the brain and the body in terms of psychotherapy work and support work is we're understanding more and more about how our bodies can be a resource for connection and regulation and also connection with others. So what I'd invite you to do, just to allow yourself to experience your body as being present here in this conference, is just do this 90-second exercise with me. Take a second and just allow yourself to notice what it's like to sit in the chair that you're sitting in. So just notice. It's kind of an odd therapist thing to ask, but just notice. What's it like to be present here in the chair? Just notice the weight of your body. Are you letting the chair hold you up? Or are you slightly up off the chair? And then check in with your feet as well. Are your feet grounded and present? Are they active or anxious? So just notice from that body first way, begin to invite yourself just to arrive in this place. One of the things we do when we're aware of the body is we just notice rather than think. So notice some of those things that might be pulling you away from being present. Make contact with them and just allow yourself to be here more. This is visually an incredibly stimulating room, and there's lots to see in this location and experience. And just let all of that inform this sense of presence and connection with each other. Allowing yourself to arrive. So one of the things that I like to do when we're working with a group and trying to create a sense of community is try to listen to what people are coming with in terms of their presence here, like their hopes and their expectations. And you can imagine trying to do that in a big group like this, it'd take us 2.5 hours to figure out everyone's intentions. So what I'd like to do is use this strategy that I like to use called one-word processing. So think about as you're in that body-centered place, what's one word that describes something about your presence here today, just as we begin? And let's have several people throughout the group describe something about, just say one word that describes something about your presence here. One word. Yes?
Comfortable.
Comfortable. Who else? Yes?
Family.
Family. Who else? Yes?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Who else?
Like-minded.
Like-minded. Who else? Gratefulness. Who else? Say again?
Help.
Help. Who else? Learn. Yes. Engaged. Yes.
Life.
Life. Okay? One of the things I'm doing as people are saying the word and I'm responding, we call this an attachment strategy, right? When people take the risk to name something, we want to let them know that we're with them by resonating with that word. So when you said life, I felt that life and I wanted to say it right back, right? So that's that sense of building communication through connection. And lots of times in big conferences like this, the only real connecting will happen like back at the muffin table. It's sort of like, that's the place when you get bored with the presentation that you like go back and can connect. But we really want to take the risk to begin to connect with each other, to actually build a community that can travel through this experience of this really rich conference together. And one of the things about working with movement disorders or degenerative diseases is that it's a long journey to be a part of this process. My journey started like back in the early 90s in Southern California when I was just a young social worker. And my father, who was a fundamentalist preacher in Southern California, suddenly began showing signs of Parkinsonianism. And I was a social worker and I wanted to get help for my family. And I started doing my advocacy work. And I found out at the time there was only one support group for folks with Parkinson's way out at City of Hope, 2 hours out into the desert. And there were like no resources in the region for figuring out how we were going to be on this journey with my dad. And then as I started moving with him through this process, like having the privilege of being on this journey with him, I noticed, just like I've learned as I've been connecting with my friends and colleagues from Missoula with MSA, that people started to come and join us on the journey. Suddenly there were support groups that sprung up, and then caregiver support and medical resources that started to gather. And this journey of connection started to happen and deepen more and more. And so the journey here isn't just like Missoula to Florida. For me, the journey started many, many years ago. And so think about the journeys that you've been on that have brought you to this place. There's a way in which there's lots of wisdom that comes from walking on this path together. One of the things I learned in this process that today is always your best day, right? So when you're working with the degenerative process, today's the best day. And so learning how to be dynamically present and to be engaged with each other is a huge part of this process. So let's take another second in terms of that connectivity and take the risk of what I would call the risk of eye contact. So a lot of times, even when we sit in circles, if we don't know folks, we kind of keep our heads averted. So take a risk and just look around and welcome each other into the process. Just with, Margot has some strategies called smiling that we're going to learn about, the power of smiling. But just take a second to notice the people that are in the room together, just beginning to be curious about who we're on this journey with. So we're going to learn and we're going to connect, just having a sense of curiosity and welcome as we join together. So I wanted to introduce to you a new friend of mine that I just met in this process of working together on this conference, and that's Margot here from Florida, and she's a specialist in working with improvisation and group process. So Margot, would you join us as we begin to gather our group together?
Thank you, Andrew. That was a lovely presentation, wasn't it? Were we feeling more awake? Thank you, Andrew. Oh, I stuck in my foot. Oh, we connected toe to toe. My name is Margot Escott, and I'm a psychotherapist with the emphasis on psycho from Naples, Florida. I've been in the field for 35 years, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. But first of all, I want everybody to just maybe put their hands over their heads if they can. Just put your hands over your head. This. And take a deep breath in, and then laugh your way down. One more time, more laughter. Up. And terrific. Well, I'm a social worker, psychotherapist. I'm a teacher. I'm an actor. I'm an improviser. And I'm also the mother of 2 Shetland sheepdogs, probably my most important thing. And around 1999, 20 years ago now, I was asked to speak at a beginnings of what would be a Parkinson's Association in Naples, Florida. The week after my dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And so the Parkinson's Association in Naples, Florida is a wonderful organization. We have hundreds of classes and all kinds of things going on. And my dad was an active member for many years. And I cared for him for the last 5 years of his life. So I have a personal connection as well. Then, I'm giving you more history, but anybody getting bored yet? Okay. Then in 2011, I had a traumatic brain injury, and I had a ruptured aneurysm, actually, what happened. And during the procedure, it burst during the surgery. Luckily, I had a wonderful surgeon, but when my brother and my husband were in the waiting room waiting for the results, the surgeon said, "I'm sorry to tell you this, I know she can move her extremities, but we don't know if she'll ever speak or have memory again." To which my brother said, "Too bad about the memory." Yeah. So, as I recovered from that, I had a girlfriend who said to me, "Margot, I think you might like acting." Oh, I'm so shy and retiring, why would I like acting? But she said, "Try this class." And I went to a nearby class on improvisation and acting for theater, and I was hooked. Has anybody ever had something you just became passionate about right away? Maybe it was your spouse, you saw them, and it was like, wow. Okay, so that's what I love to do. I love to teach improvisation, and I love to laugh, and I love to make people laugh. So right now I'm going to invite you all to put a big smile on your face. Big smile. Great. Now turn to the person next to you or someone else at your table and smile at them. What happened? You started laughing. There are some funny-looking people in this room, aren't there? Wow. Well, you just made a connection with somebody else through laughter and smiling, right? And a smile is the shortest distance between two people. Smiling is actually healthy for us. And I tell my clients to try to smile at least 30 times a day, even when you don't feel like it. Now, the first thing about smiling that is important to know, ladies, is that it's a natural facelift. So we don't need all those injections. The other thing about smiling is when we're smiling, there are physiological effects that are combating the fight or flight response in our body. The stress hormones that come out when we're feeling anxious, worried, upset. Some of the chemicals that have chemical changes in our body include the decrease of something called cortisol. And cortisol is a hormone that is very bad for us. I won't go into the science because I'm not really a scientist. I play one on TV, but I'm not a scientist. So what it does is it also produces dopamine. Now, dopamine is important for people with MSA as well as Parkinson's. It also releases endorphins, the pleasure hormones, makes us feel better, and serotonin, which sometimes people have to get serotonin in a pill, antidepressant, serotonin reuptakes. So smiling is a natural mood changer. So I'm going to invite everybody right now to put a big smile on their face, turn around and smile at somebody else in the room. All right, so throughout the day, I'm going to invite you to remember to smile, because a smile is a great connection between us. Now, Andrew spoke a little bit about getting present and in the now, and I'd also like to invite everybody to get in the present. There's kind of a buzzword now, which is thousands of years old, but it's called mindfulness. Mindfulness, you can get apps for it and take classes, and you can even train to be one for a few $1,000s. So I have been studying mindfulness for the past 30 years with someone from Massachusetts. Anybody from Massachusetts? All right, named Jack Cornfield. And Massachusetts over here? Great. So mindfulness, what is mindfulness? It's merely being here now in the present moment. Throughout this conference, we're going to have many present moments to be in. Now, what does it mean to be in the moment? It also means being in the moment without judgment, because we all tend to judge, right? Is there anybody in the room that doesn't judge? All right, so that's a kind of a human nature to judge, but eliminating judgment, letting go of some of those thoughts and beliefs we have, and just being with our breath. So mindfulness is also about being aware of the breath. And as Thich Nhat Hanh said, who wrote Miracle of Mindfulness, breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. So I'm going to invite you now to do a little exercise, and it is a bit threatening because I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. All right, everybody close their eyes if you can, if you will. And just for the next few seconds, I want you to really feel yourself in this room and listen to all the sounds within the room. And breathe in and breathe out. Just focus a little bit on your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. And gently open your eyes. And I want to know if anybody experienced anything different, because I'm going to play Oprah right now. Did anybody experience anything at all through that short exercise? Raise your hand. Somebody? Oh, great, thank you.
I was just reminded how shallow my breathing is when I don't realize I'm not taking full deep breaths. Yeah.
Great. So he knows how shallow his breath could be. Yes. Anybody else? Okay. Where are you heading me? Oh, great.
You are taking a very large risk, because some of us would have gone to sleep. It was really hard to open those eyes again.
Oh, well, thank you, Belinda. That's a success, I think.
I'm the jokester.
All right.
Love
Good.
humor. Humor is good.
Well, we're going to be sisters in humor today, okay? I want you in all my workshops. Okay. So did anybody feel a little bit more relaxed? Okay. We did that in 1 minute. In just 1 minute. Now, of course, everybody's in a new surrounding and different people are here, etc. But many of you were able to just relax your body a little bit, weren't you? And maybe relax your mind. And so in my workshops later on, we'll do more mindfulness exercises. Let's see, do I have time to do one more thing? Okay, great. Are you ready for one more thing? Uh-oh. No? Okay, I'm off. All right. Now, this is a game where I really need participation. I'm going to ask people to either stand up or raise their hand, okay? Because this game is called Yes, Let's. And the way it works is somebody's going to say something, and I'll give you an example, and then the whole group says, yes, let's, okay? So if I say something like, let's do something, you're all going to say, yes, let's. Perfect, okay. All right, let's go to the beach. Yes, let's. All right, who's next? Who wants to be a risk taker and say, let's do something?
Let's go to the bathroom.
Let's go to the bathroom. Yes, let's. Who else?
Let's go to Disney World.
Let's go to, yes, let's.
Let's taste the funky chicken.
Let's do the funky chicken. Yes, let's. Someone else? Yes, let's. Who else?
Let's fight MSA.
Let's what? Okay. Speak nice and loud if you can. Share your voice, as we say. Come on, I need one or two more.
Let's find a cure for MSA.
Let's. All right, well, that's what we call a closer. That's a good one to end on, all right? Well, I want to thank you for paying attention. I think you've been paying attention. Your eyes are open. And I hope you feel a little bit more connected with some of the people in the room, connected with your partners, maybe a little connected with me. I'm so honored to be here. This is really such a great thing for me. And we're going to now start separating into groups. And those who are care partners are going to be accompanying Andrew into the next room, which is
Salon 1.
Salon number 1. And those who have MSA are going to stay in the room with me. And if you need to take a little pause for a good cause, take your time. Thank you.